G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Darkmire and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up Lspdfr Australia for yourself. For the first episode we're going to be going through setting up the basic game itself, just Lspdfr, and I might show you guys how to set up some plugins as well, and then we'll have another episode for the vehicles and sirens and all that sort of fun stuff. It may take me a few days to get all this sorted out, so do bear with me. I know a lot of you are going to be very keen to get started because of all the recent news coverage, so we'll try and get it done as quickly as possible. Now, before we get started, you will need to have GTA installed on your computer. It does need to be a fully legit, legally purchased copy. It can be either a CD version, maybe you've got it from a local store or something like that, or it can be the Steam version. My videos are going to be based around the Steam version, although for the most part it should work for either version. Obviously, this first step will be a little bit different. Basically, you need to get a shortcut to your GTA directory on your desktop. Now, the way you do that with the Steam version, you bring up your Steam library, find GTA 5, has to be installed already, make sure you've got that sorted. Right click on it and go to Properties, Local Files tab, and then Browse Local Files, and that'll open up a Windows Explorer window to your GTA installation directory. If you then click the up arrow here next to the address bar, you'll go up to your main Steam library. This isn't my main computer, that's why there's only a few games installed on this one. Then you basically want to right click on Grand Theft Auto 5, keep the right mouse button down, drag it all the way over here to the desktop, and then release it. And it's going to give you this little option. You want to select Create Shortcuts here. So that way we now have, close that down, we can close that down, we can close that, and we can get straight into our GTA 5 directory just like that. Nice and simple. So I'll minimize that. The next step is obviously to download Lspdfr, and that's as simple as bringing up your browser and going lspdfr.com, enter, and bam, there we have the Lspdfr website. We'll have some ads on it, just ignore those. You scroll down to, go down to here, and we want to click on Lspdfr with a little download file button there. Click on that. It will then take us to the actual file download itself, and we want to ignore the start download ad. Make sure you don't click on that nonsense. You want to look for download this file. It's going to be this kind of color, and it's going to be down about here underneath the ad. So there'll be an ad below the images, then the actual download button. Make sure you click the right one, because generally these ads with download buttons are linked to all sorts of nasty stuff. Then you've got some terms to read through, agree and download, and then personally, I would suggest the manual installation. Basically, with automatic installers, you never really know exactly what they're doing, and they generally leave traces of themselves around if you want to get rid of them. So if you get the manual installation, then you know exactly what is going on your computer, which is generally a good thing. Tick this little box to make sure that we're not a Cylon invading the human race, and hit download. And finally, after all those download buttons, we're actually, in 5 seconds, now going to be downloading Lspdfr. It does take a little bit to get through to it, but not too bad. This is also where you would go to get plugins for Lspdfr. So you go to the same website, and in the download section under GTA 5 mods, there's a whole bunch of different scripts, and it's also where you get the cars from as well for a lot of the cases. But we'll go through that in a later video. Alright, so that file has now downloaded. Using Chrome, you can just click this and go show in folder, and that'll take you straight to your downloads folder. We can close Chrome now because we don't need it anymore. We want to right click on that and extract all. Extract. Okay, so we now have all of the files that we need to install. Basically, what you want to do from here is hit Control A to highlight everything and tick the licenses folder. You don't need that. Hit Control C to copy it. I like to hit it a couple of times just because I've had keyboards glitch out sometimes and not copy the first time. Then you want to go over that folder, over to the desktop, double click on your Grand Theft Auto 5 directory shortcut, and just hit Control V to paste everything into that directory. And so now we have Lspdfr installed. We're about halfway there. Now we need to get to Ragepluginhook, although you'll see here it is included in the Lspdfr installation. That is quite an old version at this point. See, there's file version 0.36. I think the current version is 0.50. So very old version. To get that, back to Google Chrome, and we want ragepluginhook.net. We'll have the links to these in the description below, so you guys don't have to try and remember the URLs. You'll be able to just look down in the description and they'll be all linked there. So yes, everyone uses cookies these days, we know. Downloads, and You want to make sure that this is bold, this Ragepluginhook itself. You know what the developer examples or the developer enhancer, that's for obviously developers. And then you want to click on the actual title here. So Ragepluginhook Open Alpha. This number might be different by the time you're watching this video because it updates every time a new version comes out. But you want the very first one. It's always going to be the most recent one and generally the best one to use. Click on that, and again, it'll download it. And the same sort of process. Show in folder, extract all, extract. So that's going to open it up in a new window, and again we want to select everything. This time we want to unselect licenses and SDK, and copy that. Do we still have Grand Theft Auto open? Yes we do. So this time, maximize that, we click off that. It is going to complain about some files with the same names. That's because Lspdfr ships with an extremely outdated version of Ragehook with it. So it does have an old version in there, but you need to overwrite those files just to make sure they're up to date. We want to replace all the files, and we should pretty much be good to go now. There might be some other options that we need to install. We'll see when we run Ragehook for the first time in just a moment. Another thing I like to do just to make it a bit easier is, again, grab this one, right-click on the file, move your mouse over to the desktop, still holding that right mouse button down, release, and create shortcut. And that way, put that up here, and we can rename it to GTA with Ragehook, or maybe Lspdfr, or whatever you want to call it, basically, just so you know what it is. And now we will be able to launch it. Now, you won't get to hear any of the game sounds, unfortunately, because I have to use a couple of computers to actually record this, recording the audio on one and the screen capture on another one, just because of some technical issues at the moment. But we'll fire it up, and you guys will see the initial startup process, and we'll see if we have all the requirements or not. So you're going to see here that because basically Windows 10, I believe it is, any DLLs that you get from the internet, it basically locks them so that they can't be used as viruses and things like that. And Ragehook is capable of detecting that, and it gives you a list of all the files that are locked, and you need to actually unblock them. So whenever you see this kind of prompt when you're starting up Ragehook, always click that yes button, because otherwise the plugins basically won't work properly. Okay, so here we have a disclaimer. Definitely, absolutely 100% read this. That's a very good reason you need to read all this stuff that comes up on the screen. I'm not going to sit here and read it through with you guys. You guys can read it either pausing the video or when you install it on your own computer. You want to click accept, and it's going to do some first-time installation checks, make sure you've got all the requirements. And then it'll show you all these little tick boxes. You want all of them to be ticked. You might get some that aren't. And again, another critical message, and this is for basically restoring your game in the case of a future GTA update. Every time Rockstar brings out a new DLC for the game, it typically changes the game version, which breaks Ragehook temporarily. Usually it gets updated within about a week, but if you want to play Lspdfr within that time frame, you need to basically roll back to your version, to an earlier version that supported the Ragehook version. So we want to click yes. You always want to click yes, just to make sure you've got a backup. Obviously, if you run out of hard drive space, you might need to go through and clean that out. I'm not sure if it's actually... Okay, so then after you've backed up, it'll come to this screen. This is the Ragehook settings screen. A few things you want to do. You probably want to tick that, basically, so you don't have it always saying down in here in the bottom corner, Ragepluginhook Alpha blah 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 version. I personally like to tick it just to get rid of that bit of text on the screen. On your plugins, generally it's best to have load all plugins on startup unless you get some crashy ones that you want to disable. Basically that way, as you load into the game, everything will be loaded up with it. You don't have to go into the console and manually choose what you want each time. Advanced settings, you can generally leave most of this alone. And game settings, basically here is where you would go to back up your game version. So my backup didn't actually fire off that first time I ran the app, so we're going to back it up quickly here. And this is what would have appeared if you had have clicked yes and that had have actually worked on that earlier screen. Doesn't take very long, as you can see. It's already up to finalizing. It should be done in just a second. There we go, all done. And so now, if GTA was to update tomorrow and I wanted to play Lspdfr before Ragehook updated, I would just go back into here, into the settings, go to revert game version, and there'd be a different button there that will let me roll back to this version. Anyway, now we want to go save and launch. This will save all the settings. You'll only see this the first time. After that, you'll need to hold down Shift when you load up Rage to get back into the settings section or hit the little cog icon. I'll show you guys that in a moment. And there you go, it actually tells you that as well. Yeah, so unfortunately I can't actually launch the game to show you guys on this PC because basically I don't actually have admin access on the PC, which makes it a little bit hard to finish the installation. We don't have the Rockstar Social Club fully installed on this computer yet. But basically at this point, you can then launch Lspdfr with Ragepluginhook, and then you want to hit F4 to bring up the console and type in Force Duty, and that will get you up and running on duty. I will do another video in the very near future showing you guys how to get on duty and start up. That'll probably be at the end of the tutorial. I'll do these series basically to get everything up and running on the computer, and then we'll do a final one to get you guys into the game, show you guys how to fire it up properly, get it all started, and start doing your policing. I hope you have enjoyed. Hope this has been informative and helped you get set up with these first basic steps. As I said, I'll get another video out shortly with some recommended plugins, how you go about installing those. I'll get another one out with vehicle installation, and I'll probably do siren installation as a separate one as well, because that's another little tricky thing. And I'll be working on those throughout this week. As I said, hopefully we'll get them all up by the weekend, and you guys can then get stuck into some good Aussie policing. And obviously this also applies if you don't want to do it with Australian police cars. You can do it with other police cars, or even just with the stock standard in-game ones. At this point, you're ready to go on duty as a police officer within the default GTA. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video very shortly. Till then, have a good one.